good. My God.
No, I mean to where they even created apple bottom jeans, right? They're like, okay, we're targeting the more robust female market because they try to make everything just one thing, and they're trying to dictate what is beautiful, right? They're trying to justify it through analytics, right? And so they're not allowing like, okay, what about if I say Angelina Lee is ugly? Right? I mean, that's, oh, you must be crazy. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I think she's pretty. I was like, that was it now.
But
I think we're getting better at that though. Like they get a lot more backlash nowadays. It was something like, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago that they chose the most beautiful women alive, and they chose, I can't remember what it was. It's one of these cookie cutter white ladies, everything. And everybody was like, what? The most beautiful what? Like they're not even getting away with it. And I like to see that pushback because I think so much of our beauty has died trying to live in that box. I once bought this jumpsuit. J-Lo made it. It was a J-Lo brand, by the way. And this jumpsuit was fire. Boy, I was like, woo, boy, what? And I put on this jumpsuit. I looked so horrible in this jumpsuit. And back then I was young. I was good. You know what I mean? I looked so horrible in this jumpsuit. And I kept the jumpsuit for a long time because I was going to look, no matter how much weight I lost, no matter what, I never looked good in just jumpsuit. So then I was older. This is one cousin in my family, and she is shaped marvelously. I mean, like there's not a flaw on, like if she steps out the house, people will just materialize to tell her how. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna bless you with this jumpsuit because there's nothing I can do with it. I can't get my body to look right in this jumpsuit. I'm like, girl, but try that jumpsuit on me. Show me how it's supposed to work. She put on that jumpsuit. And she looked so damn horrible. I was like, God damn it, it's the jumpsuit.
No,
it never dawned on me. Listen.
What happened is you fell for the marketing.
It's marketing. Never dawned on me that this is like a 5-year thing with this jumpsuit.
We're not doing better. I mean, this is why commercial.
Let it go.
This is why commercial works, right? Commercial works.
It was the jumpsuit. I had seen enough women on TV in this jumpsuit that looked so good. I figured I too should look. No, the jumpsuit was cut. It was never cut for a woman with curves to wear.
And the women
was cut
on TV,
for a 19-year-old boy.
They're tailor-made.
You'd look real good in it.
Those are tailor-made. Like just like when you see like McDonald's a hamburger. It's awesome, but when you buy it, it's like a grotesque burger.
Let it go.
Yeah.
The reason I told that story, because I feel like for Africans, I think that's what happens to us. We try and fit our beauty into this jumper that was never designed for us, never considered for us. It doesn't matter how hard we work. I'm telling you, I starved myself to get in this jumper. Okay. I was like, what else I got to do, Jesus, to look good in this jumper? Because no matter what, I looked crazy. And I think we should try to come to the point, at least to say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with my beauty. It is the jumper, or it is this society,
the book is analyzing that. This is what the book is about. We're taking a look at that and where the origin came from and how this type of worldview has been put out there, and now we falling prey to that worldview.
And it's the last thing I said. I promise I'm going to shut up the whole meeting. And it just happened to be something that I was looking at because I was trying to find African art, and I wanted something of Lady Ty. Do you guys know who Lady Ty is?
No, I don't know her.
So she is the mother of King Tut. They just found her through DNA. They had already known she was in the pyramid, but they didn't know who she was. They knew she was some kind of royalty, but with DNA of all the, like, they were able to track down his mother and father, and they recreated her. And she looks just like Foxy Brown. They genetically, they did not just
I saw those pictures.
You saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, she looks. And what was funny is there was this one thing that before they had recreated her, she was in some museum and they were talking about how beautiful her hair was, all the white, beautiful her hair. She was so gorgeous. She was so beautiful. And then the picture came out reconstructed of her as a black one. They were like, all right, yeah, she ain't that beautiful. She all right. Like, it was so funny how it changed. But in looking at that, I started to see like, oh my God, like when you see her statues and stuff, her features are so black, her hair is braided. Like there's no way that they don't know that this is us.
Yeah.
And what I found funny was they have mummies with pictures of them. Do you know that? Like the actual picture of the mummy is on the mummy, like the actual face of the picture. So I was struggling because, okay, I'm like, okay, we definitely black. But then I was looking at more art and you can actually buy the pictures that were on these mummies and all the mummies are white. So I'm like, okay, well, is it us or isn't it not us, you know? So then I kept researching to find out that what Rome did, what they don't tell you, this is Egypt when it was ruled by Rome. They just say Egypt. So I'm thinking it's Egypt during King Tut, that glory days. It wasn't. It was Egypt when it was ruled by Rome. And what Egypt started doing was because there were no white mummies, they started mummifying themselves to say, hey, look, we're here too. And actually putting the faces, we're white. You know what I mean? Like they want you to know for a fact that.
Well, it happened. Like I said, it happened before that. Ptolemy II. Look up Ptolemy II. Mm-hmm. This is when they started to whiteify the European sculptures and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it was just crazy that they actually started doing that and then making it so clear that they were white. And what happens is, as when you're researching it, they don't make it clear that there's two different periods. They just say, oh no, these are the mummies that had, and then you start thinking, well, did all the mummies look like this? And it's not true. The truth of the matter is, this was after this period that these particular mummies came in that had the faces. Like you guys have to look it up. They're all white. They're all like super, super, super white. Like the pictures of the mummies are actually on. And I'm just like, okay, cut it out. Like, stop it. But it was just the contrast to show like how they go out of their way to show that this is not us. Do you know what I mean? What power is in that in us? It must be some power in that for us to truly
well, this is what we're discussing in this chapter. How this has a influence. So let's focus on the topics now, so we can really finish this chapter 3. Then Yami, you was gonna say something in regards to the book.
I was just going to say she didn't really get into this part of the European Asili, but their value is based on market value, supply and demand. And if they can control your value in the market, then you have value. You know, I forget which one of you was saying, you know, if I like it, if it gives me good feeling, then it has good value. But if we look at everything through the market value, it's just like our music. Like I can remember when hip hop back in the late 70s and 80s, it didn't have a high value, a high market. You can hear people rap all over the place. But now the music is based on what's the value in the market? How much can it sell? So the lyrics doesn't represent
Black life. Yeah. I differ a little, because this is what marketing is all about, is to sell you something that you don't really need, right? So we have so many different types of devices that we could live without, right? And where it's having such an impact on the culture, the human culture, the natural human culture, the culture of, like in the US, for example, in the West, and it's having an impact in our environment, because we're not seeing how everything is interconnected. And so we're looking to sell, and it's part of it. All stems to control things. They want the power to be able to do whatever they want. This is power oriented. This is what the Asili is about. They create, and so when they're marketing to you, they actually create the need. Like, for example, we were doing things because we were self-expressing, this came about. They created the need to try to sell it to everybody else.
Monetized.
Yeah, they monetize it. So we looked at it. It was spiritual, it was fun, it was festive, and they took it and they ran with it and put their own twist into it. To now, hip hop is not it. The direction it went to was not the direction that we wanted it to go to. Where now it's meaningless.
Right. What part do you differ with?
Well, I differ to the part where the need, where you said there's the need of it, like it, that's the part when you said they recognize the need and then they sell it. No, they market, they create a artificial need. It's not a real need. It's not something like, if I don't hear hip hop any longer, my life ain't gonna change.
Right.
You know, like this phone right here. This is a iPhone 7, right? What's the latest iPhone they have?
I think 10.
12 or something like that.
12 or 13, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, yeah.
Like 7 ain't good enough now? Like this. So they always create, oh, but now you got this new, right? This whole
Yeah,
new
I-
need.
Robert will disagree with you. He's got a 12.
No, I'm just saying it serves the same function. Right?
You bought into it, Robert.
And so no, it's marketing. This is where art meets. This is what we call marketing, and basically that's what are you referring to? It's marketing.
My question to Robert would be, did you line up on the first day that phone was on sale at 5 o'clock in the morning to get it?
Nah,
Well,
I'm not that. I'm definitely not. I'm that type of guy. But I said I would shake my head on the 7 just because the battery life on the 7 and like it was pretty.
Yeah, but what is the battery?
The one that comes right after it.
Hold
is like,
on.
okay.
Let me add this to it, right? So because of the battery, right? What is that battery doing to the planet? Because it's very
we're in agreement. I'm just saying there is a difference between the 7 and the one that doesn't have.
but it's the functionality of it. It serves its purpose, whether you got a 7 or 12 or 13. It's the same function.
No,
Like you didn't need to get that phone if you had a 7 or 8.
But it's built in though. The obsolete is built into the
yes, of course.
Process.
Yeah,
So it sounds obsolete.
They turn up the code on the 7 too pretty soon here, so you know. Yeah, I'm dead, bro. It's like your volume gonna stop working for no reason. Like it's gonna start calling random people. I promise you, this happens. They do that for a reason.
No, they
I
do.
get you.
They
I
do.
Exactly.
They do. Like that's what I'm saying. They're aggressive with their CD. They don't play around. They want their money.
Not to mention when you work with young kids, you can't have an outdated phone. You will get clowned. Like your phone has to be up. You can't pull out no iPhone 7 in front of teenagers. Oh my God.
Again, that's part of the brainwashing thing that's going on. You know, we continue to perpetuate. We're so brainwashed that if you get rid of all the Europeans and that are trying to create this dominance, we will recreate that asili within our own people.
And I do believe rap was kind of the need. I think we have a need for expression, but then our expression was controlled because they kind of like monetized it. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Jay-Z, when Jay-Z first started rapping, he came out with like what was it? Something, but his lyrics were so clean, they were so powerful, they were so deep, but he made no money off of it. And then he made money with like a Less album, and then he just stuck to that. His lyrics, like A Reasonable Doubt was the album.
Yeah, but that's all marketing. It's all marketing. If they wanted to market conscious music, it will pop off. Marketing
exactly.
works.
But they marketed in a way that we didn't want it to go. Like we would have rather rap to be deeper, to be thing, but it was more
Because
like
remember,
pop.
Def Jam blew up with Public Enemy.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with you. Like they definitely control it by saying what, you know what I mean, what people like the most, like what they marketed to us as good rap music. Because Jay-Z got more play on the radio. He got better albums when it was more pop than when, because I didn't even know about him, Reasonable Doubt. I kind of learned about him once his stuff was more marketed on the pop level, and then kind of went back. And so I was like, well, why would you ever, you know what I mean, stop doing this when this was so good, but that was more profitable.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Our collective values have become market values, as opposed to the higher sense of spirituality, those higher values that you can't put a price on. Those days are almost gone.
I want to step on anybody's toes just in regards to the rap conversation. Is it possible within that context? I feel like as a culture, we really didn't invest in ourselves, and that's kind of left that door open to be exploited. Like what was coming up, like the people in the game, like the disco and all that stuff, they wasn't really investing into the next generation coming up, and so that next generation just kind of got taken out by, you know, the capitalist music.
No, there were gatekeepers. There were gatekeepers. We were prevented from having distributions. We don't control the whole market system. And so it's hard. Like right now, we living in a unique time where now we could market our own selves a little bit better than we didn't have access to marketing before, like we have it now, using social media, YouTube, and all those things. So we're creating, and even now they control these platforms. If they want to get rid of YouTube, you know how many broke people there'll be? Like YouTube created millionaires. As quickly as they created those millionaires, faster they could make them poor again by get rid of this platform, the YouTube platform. So
you've seen that
all the time. They are one step ahead, and we're not. Now we do not invest in ourselves, and as a community, not just the hip hop game, as a community, because we're not creating infrastructures institutions to support our own values. We're not buying land. And like, yeah, there's a few brothers and sisters who are doing it, but that's the minority. It's not having a significant effect as a whole, right? And so, I mean, we got countries that are not doing it, or there's CIAs over there breaking stuff off, you know? And so there's also that part that plays a role. We're not just not investing. We try to invest in ourselves. We were investing in ourselves like before the 60s. Like just before us, there were Black communities, Black bus companies, Black appliance stores. There was a lot more Black doctors. They own more land. The Black community own more land in the United States. So it's just becoming worse, and it's because there's an outside force really creating blockages. You know, I mean, you read the new Jim Crow, you know, and so there's a force out there that really makes it difficult to, and distribution. I mean, that was one of the major problems. You know, look at what they did to hip hop. We were sampling music, they made it illegal, and people had to pay up. You know, they hit us in many different ways, and they change the rules of the game all the time for their benefit. It's all good that we produce things as long as they control it.
And I think one thing is too that they so sold us on inclusiveness more than
integration.
Ownership. So it wasn't so much like, I think we have to keep in mind, and this is something that I found out way later. Nobody taught me this in school, but it was like, why wasn't I taught this? You remember the whole Montgomery bus thing where they were boycotting to get on the white buses? Nobody let me know that at that time there was black buses. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody let me know at that time that they were black buses.
Yeah.
So I just thought, as I'm being miseducated by, I thought, okay, so I guess there is no black buses. So everybody had to ride the white bus. But the bigger picture is there were black buses.
Yeah.
People, so instead of just pouring into art, so I don't even know what the victories we want. We took money from these black buses, almost putting them out of business to try and go right in the front of white buses, putting black buses out of business. But that's how much we were sold of needing to be included in what they had.
Yeah,
we completely devalued.
We shut down black stores for integration.
Yes.
We shut down
so we can go
doctors and lawyers.
So we can go be followed and give them our money for them to treat us like crap. But I never got that before. How much that harmed us. The fact that we had to be included. Don't include me. Let me own my own little bus. But I didn't get that before. Nobody told me. I could not see that as the way this was going down, that while they were fighting to get on, I'm like, wait a second, they were black buses when I found that out. No, thank you, Mama.
I wanna since we're close to the 20-minute mark of 9 o'clock, I don't think we're gonna finish 3. I think this ignited a whole gusto of conversation.
We've actually covered a lot. I've been looking through the pages.
No, but we're not breaking down the book.
Yeah.
We're not breaking down this book at all. I mean, we haven't even left page 200. There's nothing that we said that breaks down that understanding. We're freestyling 3. That's what we've been doing.
You tell me I did all this homework for nothing?
No, but we understand that whenever like these topics come about, we realize it takes like two weekends to do a chapter. And I kind of knew that this chapter was gonna set things off because we could relate to it much more than the other chapters. And so I let it ride. I didn't want to. Oh, what happened? You got powered out?
No, my wife just clicked up the light. I guess I'll talk to you later.
Saying something. He's had enough.
Hey, Eugene, he looked like a younger version of you, bro. No, but I think we need to come back into this chapter. I think we should just finish this discussion off of what we've been doing. And I think come next Sunday, we read, like, we really break down this chapter, unless y'all want to bypass this chapter. If y'all think I'm just being overcritical.
I think we're covering the topics.
I think we kind of
we're jumping around, but we're covering each of these sections.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we put it in our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, this chapter was real artsy. Yeah. So it was tough for me. It was so artsy.
I actually
man.
Like,
I loved it.
It's kind of related to
but why hold on, let's understand this artsy thing. Why what you said it's too artsy. What do that mean? Because that's like vague as hell, yo. Like
think of Ogun.
No. Let me not put Ogun a spiritual like that. That's a little bit off. Let's
Can I ask Mr. Buntu a question?
Hold on. I just asked him a question.
Oh, sorry.
What do I mean by artsy?
Yeah, not what you mean by too artsy.
Because it was so much emphasis on
aesthetics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That it was difficult for me, so I had to put it in the way that
what made it difficult?
Because I don't really look at art. Except,
hold on.
let's say if you deal with a community.
I think you're talking about what I was talking about, that elite art.
You talking about elite art?
Saying there's two types of art. It's that the art that
Yeah. Are you talking about elite art? Because I see art in your hat. I see art in your hat.
Right. Yeah, I do. I understand that part, but I look at it more like in building of houses. The building of houses, how they set up the houses in a community, how they set up the stores, how churches are constructed in communities. It's not really based, and she talks about the communal aspects of art compared to the social. We're more socialized, but we don't think communally. Like schools might be so far away.
Hold on, I want you to explain that, because that's dope right there. Go ahead, explain that part, bro. That's dope.
I can remember what it made me think of is being bused to another school.
Yeah,
it took me 30 minutes to get to, and when I got there, it was so many white people. I didn't fit in, so but. It was all the talented kids seemed to went to these white schools, and the kids that couldn't make it went back to the black schools, and it made those schools work. It was just designed in a way that it made the white schools better, and it took the talented out of the black schools, and the black schools had to deal with what was left in the. So that's the type of art and design that I was looking at. It was designed in a way that took away our quality, our value out of our cities. Yet alone, we want to move out and go to the suburbs instead of building up.
They have a macrocosm example of what you just spoke about, which is the brain drain that they did in Africa, where they were taking the talents out of Africa out. Have you ever heard of that concept, the brain drain?
Yeah.
Okay. They do it in the Caribbean as well.
Yeah,
They go for all the professionals, people, and who can.
Yeah. Look at their immigration policies in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a mathematician or physicist, you come in real quick.
Right. So if we thought more the communal way is, I can't leave my community because I'm such an asset to my community.
Right.
If you need me, then you're going to have to take care of the entire community, yet alone just me by myself. So those concepts are gone. And she talks about that in there. That part I really didn't like.
Yeah.
But the paintings and the artistry,
Well, she was explaining, like what Brother Robert was mentioning.
Yeah.
She was dealing with that elite art.
Yeah.
And when we're dealing with aesthetics, when she talk about the analytics, and how they broke down scientifically, they were trying to develop this scientific methodology for what is beautiful, right? She had a focus on that elite art to be able to break that down, because we don't. The art for everybody else was entirely different. How we viewed it, how we created it, and it was pure self-expression. It wasn't like I'm a mimic, because remember the Romans and the Greeks were mimicking a lot, and they were like, okay, if we make this as real looking as possible, that means we're better. And so they kind of took out the meaning and self-expression out of it.
I think another important part is religious art. I think that has such a big impact because, not everybody goes to like an art museum or sees art but when we think about images of Jesus that we see all over the place, that is simply art. And it is a form of art that's pushed on us. It is aesthetics. It's everything that she talks about in that book, and it is not us. I think that's one of the biggest artwork, because it's not like it's so funny because as a child,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that actually is in the book.
Oh yeah, I read the chapter. I did my homework. I did read it. I thought we were leaving that part. So since I've been off railing, I figured I could help the train get back on the tracks before I get kicked out my first day, acting brand new. No, but yeah, so I thought
Hey, Linda, that red wrap that she got on fits her perfectly, right?
What is the red? I hope it's Linda. Let me know later.
Mrs. Ubuntu. Mrs. Ubuntu. Look at her. She got the red wrap. She's like exercising that fire. Go ahead.
And as a child, I never questioned that. It would almost be impossible for that to be a real picture of Jesus, right? There's like, what was he doing? Posing at the time, like, hey, by the way, you know what I mean? YouTubing, there was no Instagram or nothing. I really thought that was Jesus. I really, in my heart, because there was adults that were telling me this was the same adults that taught me how to walk, see the world, eat. They were telling me that was Jesus. So as ridiculous as that may sound, I really thought that was the face of Jesus forever.
That's not ridiculous. I mean, if you grew up that way, that's how many of us were like.
That was the very same experience. So,
if you didn't read the book, you would have said, yeah, Jesus was white,
Yeah, it sounds about right. But how did I not? But you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know, I guess.
Because you're born into it, and
you're born into the matrix.
You're Jamaican, right? So your parents are born in Jamaica. They grew up very colonially influenced, and whatever they believed is what they passed on to you. Most of us in this chat went through all of that.
No, it's. I found some old pictures, and I'm not derailing. This is on topic. I found some old pictures the other day of my family. It was a wedding, and this is Jamaica. Jamaica's been hot forever. There wasn't even like air conditioner back then. And they were in like 3-piece suits. You hear me?
They still
with
do that.
Hats and everything. And I was thinking, so why the heck, like who possessed? And they look good. I'm not gonna lie, they were sharp. Okay, I'm like, I wish our brothers dressed like that today. But it made absolutely no sense. So I had to ask myself, why are they dressed like that? And it dawned on me. They were dressed like that because that's how they had seen the white people dress. It made no sense for them to be dressed like this. Like they looked hot in the picture. There's like sweat, but that's how they had seen. That's what had been given to them as how a proper man dresses. And even though it did not fit their climate, their circumstances, what they were doing, that's how they were dressed. It's just so funny how we eat the food that is fed to us, and that art is such a powerful
they make it universal, right? So like whatever, like you remember when you was talking about the dimension, the golden, also I think
the golden ratio
and stuff like that, which that has that's actually some scientific stuff on that in regards to how plant grows. But when they talk about beauty and this universal aesthetics, they try to make what they consider beautiful, right, as a template for every other ethnic cultural group in the world. And so
segue into universalism.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually looking at it because even in when you go to a church, right, the way it's designed, even the artwork and the statues, and you go in there is to create this allness, this like wow. And then you see in sculptures, and if you see sculptures that are like realistic, you're gonna be like, you're gonna focus on that. It takes your focus and you'd be like, wow. And so once you're focusing on all these artworks, guess what? They're aligning your attention and your focus to accept. They're opening you up. It's like how they do if you do biological warfare, before they initiate the biological agent, they first weaken your immune system. They throw an agent that gets you weakened, and then they throw their biological weapon on you. So that initial agent that weakens your immune system opens you up, and then here comes the chemical weapons and the biological weapons, and that does the damage.
For us, I really believe that the initial agent for us is TV. I have some I don't know what's the correct term. I figure no matter what term I use, I'm wrong. I don't even like to call people by anything anymore. But I have a friend. She's from Japan, and her whole family has very Japanese features, right? So I cannot tell them apart. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea who's who. She's been my friend like for a year, and it's like, I'm always waiting, like, okay, who are you? Tell me, girl, because I don't want to say nothing wrong. I have white friends. I can tell my white friends apart from like miles and miles away from a side view on a cross angle. I know it's them. So then I started thinking, what's wrong with me? Like, oh my God, all Japanese people look alike now. And this is what I've realized. Since I was a child, because of television that came straight into my home, do you know how many white faces I've seen? I've probably seen more white faces than black faces. Yes, I have seen so many white, just being downloaded into my brain that I can spot white people. I know their face better than I know my own people's face. I'm telling you, I can spot them. I know every angle, curve, everything that nature, because I have seen so many.
Angelina Jolie face, you recognize those anywhere, right? You can spot them.
Yes, depending on if you watch like soap operas or stuff, you know how these faces age, change. You know, there's people that you watch when they were young. So my mind has such a grand programming of white features, white faces. Okay, so when people be like, "Oh, all black people look alike," or all that, I'm really starting to believe that it's because that chemical warfare is already there where we can't even see each other. I'm telling you, I'm not racist in any way, short. I do not know them differently, but my mind has never had to process that face the way it has processed white faces is taking up all my face. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen
it's just you haven't been exposed to it. That's what it is. And you've been exposed to Western faces
so much. Like,
and here in the United States, your doctors, your lawyers, your everything is your teachers. They're mostly of that face. So you have learned how to differentiate. If you were to live in Japan for like a year,
it would probably come to me. But that's pretty horrible, no?
But that's normal. That is normal. You're now recognizing different features, and so you got to give your brain time to adjust. Like if you go to a different country, even if a country looks like you need time to adjust to that new environment. It's the same as faces. Once you go over there, like, you know, like if we were to be put in a like, for example, if they put me in Japan and I gotta live in Japan, you know, I my taste of women doesn't fit Japanese body type or anything like that. But within time, I'm like,
you would find,
she's full enough. She's full enough. So
those adjustments.
You adopt to that environment, right? And so that's what that is. It's not the imposing of other people's, like the Wazunga's culture on everybody else. That's the problem. And the reason why you could differentiate among Europeans is because they imposed their stuff. So we're living in their matrix.
I had to talk with her because I felt that way. And I was like, okay, so do you see and she said no either, but she too could point out white people like there was no tomorrow, but she didn't exactly understand and it's the same thing because she had been so pre-downloaded her whole life with that face. So that's what we're all walking around. I can't with our immunity down. We've already been like,
that's an effect.
Chiming. The other aspect of that is how people are now doing. Japanese people, Chinese people, Black people even are doing surgeries to look more like the people that they see all the time
on TV.
Because
that's the beauty.
The idea of beauty. But the juxtaposition of that is the white people are getting lip injections, lip surgery, butt implants. You know, they're doing the things to become more Black, although they're not saying that.
Well, they want they doing that. They're doing that because they want the brothers. That's what it is. You notice you didn't say the men are doing it. It's mostly women. Yeah. They're doing that because they want us, you know.
Really, I think they just think that, well, yeah, okay, all right. Kanye West, okay, all right.
They want us.
But the thing is, we're going the opposite way and killing ourselves, bleaching our skin with creams, doing the surgeries to try and make our nose straighter. We're not happy with the way that we look.
That's the effect. And you notice everything that they create a problem and they create a solution and then they sell it to you. They sell you your history. People, you know who owns the DNA for all, like if you want to do ancestry type of DNA on like people in the Mormons. It's all owned by Utah.
Is it Mormons?
Yeah. And so they took our identity so bad that now they can sell it to us.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to school for African studies. We're doing all these things. The Mormons' hearts
were in a good place, though. I like the Mormons. I think their heart was in a good place. There.
Well, they were blessing the ex-slaves. They were going and like they were like blessing them and baptizing them even while they were dead.
So the Mormons, and I did not know this about the Mormons, but they played such a significant role in the Underground Railroad. It was
and the
Quakers. Yeah,
yeah.
It was basically them. I'm not saying that they're perfect or nothing, but I'm saying they were at least trying to understand our humanity.
Yep.
Before we even understood, like some of our humanity. You know what I mean? So
I mean, but they still have that Asili of that European Asili.
They do, but yeah.
But their doctrine, like they were people, like I said before, there are people that come out and they transform themselves, and then what happens? The white community attacks them. The whites that are like, no, we can't be doing this no longer. Oh, kill them, like get rid of them.
Can I just give a quick time check? It's 9 o'clock. And the babies are very active right now. That might be a sign.
Well, how you guys feel about the covering of this chapter? We kind of went different this time. Yeah, we did not break it down individually, but I like the conversation being spontaneous and all, you know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Nyla's funny. She doesn't even know, like she's actually expressing some religious stuff, and those who knows about the spirituality, African spirituality, we see it in you, by the way. It's so hilarious. Like we're like, oh my God, she doesn't even recognize how that fiery, like you even in how you look and express. It's there. It's there. That's why I'm like, the red hair drive just got me.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at page 219, and we haven't touched really any of that stuff moving forward. I don't know what people are thinking, but
well, we did touch the universalist aesthetics, the myths of universal aesthetics a little bit when we were talking about but we could go over that for sure. Because there's several points there that are very important. You said 119?
119, 219. White, good,
I mean,
and beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll touch a little bit on that.
Yeah. I mean, we could come back to that and just
we didn't talk about the mystic schools, the difference, like page 227. Like the very last chapter, we didn't really touch on that.
Music, the music.
And the music, we sort of touched on music, but not much.
But yeah.
Yeah, we were more discussing
the black, bad, white, good thinking on page 220. We didn't really go into that. The West is a white civilization. No other civilization has made that claim. We didn't touch on that.
Like I said, I think we just come back like the normal. It takes 2 weeks to do a chapter. I knew, although this chapter is small, I knew it was going to pop off a big discussion, and it was going to trigger a big discussion. And I kind of
Can I just ask, are we going to go back over the whole chapter, or are we going to, because, you know, we don't want to start.
No, we could just go to the points that we didn't discuss. I think we could just do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we touched upon some of the universal aesthetics, and in some ways we touched the good, white, and beautiful a little bit. We didn't talk about, like, I think we talked about that using Jesus a little bit, but we could go back to that about black being evil and
Yeah, so page 219 onwards.
yeah. We could go back into that.
Are people okay with that?
Yeah.
Because we went all over the place. Robert's giving me a thumb up, one thumb, not two thumbs, two thumbs. Sunshine.
Everybody who's good with that, raise their hands.
Whoa. Okay.
Be like a teacher, Robert.
219. Okay, so is that what we're going to talk about next week, or are we moving? We can keep reading, but we'll see how far we get. Is that the?
I mean, I think we should keep reading, but we'll go over 3. We could start 4.
Okay.
And we'll just start 4.
Keep reading. How far do you want to
set a little goal?
It's not to discuss.
Even though it never makes any sense, but we could set a goal.
Yeah.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4, like
we could start reading chapter 4. Let me see, like just half of it. So we'll see. Like, let me see.
Feels like we're going backwards. So every time we set a limit, we never get to even the reading.
Civilized man.
Civilized man.
Yeah.
What page is that?
It started at 246.
All right.
Actually, that's like
that's not a lot.
10 pages. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll finish off.
No, I mean these are big discussions. So I kind of knew it was gonna go crazy this time, but I think coming back we're gonna focus more on the book, and we'll finish 3 next week, and if we got time we'll start 4.
Okay.
We could be sequential too, like we go back and because it's broken into sections, so we can just go back and say in this section what emerged as, you know, points that we really should focus in on, and just go section, and we might get through it, you know, that kind of
that way.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Wow. 9:05.
Good night.
Wow. I shouldn't say that yet.
I'm back to school tomorrow.
Well,
I gotta go.
we got new people here, so the Wheeler and JB, can you guys introduce yourselves to Nyla and Robert? Everybody else already introduced themselves.
Hello, my name's Dulcinea.
I'm JB. We're technically the Kupengama posters, but we got the nickname Wheelers because it's easier to say. I'm gonna go with that story around. And then, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess we're group.
Yeah, we're from Texas.
We're from Texas.
I think that's it.
We should all say where we are, because I think people might assume
The Senia is our reader.
Oh yeah. So I'm
Designated.
She reads so clear. If you got me reading, I get tongue tied.
Yes, Linda said he's no longer allowed to read.
That's just Linda throwing daggers. I understand that.
That's my Asili, and I embrace it very much. Can we just say where we are in the world, because I think people might assume that we're all in the States.
Yeah, I am in Jupiter, and I'm near the eye of the storm. It's very cold and windy over here. And I said, I'm from Connecticut.
That's just like your reading, Ra. Okay. Okay, Miss Veronica.
Yep, I am from Toronto. No, well, I'm actually from Mississauga, Ontario.
Sunshine.
Toronto, Ontario, live near to Lindis, and I'm like maybe what, Miss Veronica, like 35 minutes away from you?
Yeah, about that actually, yeah.
On a clear day.
On a clear day, yeah.
You're giving away where we are, so we don't have to say where we are because you just said. Mr. and Mrs. Ubuntu.
We're in Dallas.
Lindis is from Hades.
Haiti?
Hades.
What the hell, right?
I said Hades, you said hell.
I'm gonna get that T-shirt straight out of hell. Okay, you up to the Ubuntu family. Come on, Ra. Okay.
From Dallas, Texas.
Both of you in the same place. Just checking. And Nala, you said you were from
Florida.
Florida. Miss Dulcinea, did you say where you guys were?
Yeah,
you
did from Texas, yeah.
And
We're Texas too, but I guess we could be specific. We're San Antonio.
San Antonio.
There you go. That's all I wanted to know. And Robert, I think people may not know where Robert is. Not everybody.
He mentioned it,
Maryland.
But the Wheelers weren't here at the time. I'm trying to be inclusive, Rob.
Lindis, do you want me to you want me to get triggered? Because we can pop this off. We can pop this off. I'll bring the Ubuntu family into this too.
It's too late. It's too late. The time that you missed the time for popping off. It's too late.
No, we're Robert and Neela. We're a spicy bunch here, and we throw daggers all the time, and
just gotta catch them.
Yeah.
You gotta duck. Ducking is actually a good thing to do. Anyway, good to meet everybody. I suppose we can.
So listen, we're going to be working on reading the second half of chapter 4. We'll come back and discuss chapter 3, and I'll have the summary. I'll email you the summary on Monday. What was the question? Cool Breeze?
No, you said the second half of chapter 4 is actually the first half of.
Oh, the first half of chapter 4. Yeah,
chapter 3.
I misspoke. My bad. Good looking. So listen, peace to everybody. Hotep, Shemem Hotep. Robert, be careful with Cold Breeze over there. Cold Breeze is Linda.
Cold Breeze.
Oh, Robert, they all love me here. That's why they can pick on me the way they pick on me. I have two. So far, I've got 2 names. Hades.
No, that's not a name. That's your home. That's the home.
Hades. And what was it? Cold Breeze. Now, I do have supporters in this room here.
She has no supporters. She has no supporters. She has no supporters.
I'm a supporter.
I'm a supporter.
She has no supporters.
And now we have
Robert, believe me, she has no supporters.
Right.
They're support unless they talking behind my back.
No. But we have a good chat, and it's a nice way to end the weekend. Sometimes, not always.
Right.
Always.
Anyway, see everybody next week.
All right, hope everybody.
Bye. Have a good week. Bye.